I didn't lose my faith when my mental health started falling apart. I lost the illusion that strength was the goal. There was a season where my prayers didn't stop the panic. They didn't quiet my thoughts. They didn't fix my body. Because I was a leader, because I was supposed to be strong, I started to believe something was wrong with me. Not out loud, not consciously. I felt it like I was letting God down. Like if I were more disciplined, more spiritual, more faithful, this wouldn't be happening. That belief eventually put me in a moment I'll never forget. I was sitting on the floor in the hallway with my hoodie over my head in the middle of a total mental breakdown. And I begged God to just make me strong. I pleaded with him with every last bit of energy I had to fix my weakness. And his answer was no. He refused to give me what I wanted. But what he gave me instead changed everything. He showed me that my weakness wasn't some problem that needed to be solved, but the exact place his power was designed to show up. There were nights my mind would just not shut off. No dramatic crisis, no single explosion, just that quiet, grinding exhaustion where you're tired of being tired and ashamed that you're still tired. I sit there thinking, you've preached faith, you've prayed for others, you've told people to trust God. So why can't you just get it together? Maybe you've been there too. Maybe not on your bedroom floor or in the hallway, but in the driver's seat of your car, staring at the check engine like you can't afford to fix. Maybe it was a doctor's office, getting news that changes your life forever. Maybe you're staring at divorce papers or a rejection letter or an empty bank account. You're in a place of deep weakness, of desperation, and you've been pleading with God, fix this, heal this, change this, make me stronger. And the only thing you hear back is silence. It's one of the most confusing and painful places to be in your faith journey. You believe in a good, all-powerful God. You've read the stories, you've heard the sermons, you know he can do anything. So the question that echoes in that silence is a gut-wrenching one. Why won't he? Why won't he fix my finances? Why won't he heal my body? Why won't he restore my family? Why won't he take away this anxiety, this depression, this exhaustion that feels like a lead blanket I can't throw off? I asked that same question for months. I wrestled with it, and my breakdown wasn't just mental and emotional anymore. It became a spiritual crisis. I felt abandoned. I felt like a complete failure. The lie I started to believe was that my weakness was a sign of God's disapproval. That if I just had more faith, if I prayed harder, if I was a better Christian, I wouldn't be so weak. The world screams at us to hide our weaknesses, to project strength at all costs. And in the church, that pressure can sometimes feel even more intense. We think we have it all together. But what I was about to learn is that God's economy runs on a completely opposite principle. I was stuck in a vicious cycle. Beg God for a rescue, then get frustrated and angry when it didn't happen. I tried everything in my own strength. I tried to think my way out of anxiety. I tried to hustle my way out of despair. I was trying to fix myself because I was convinced God wouldn't. And this is the kind of moment where destinies are decided. Right there in that place of utter exhaustion when every ounce of my own strength was gone, a thought pierced through the noise. It wasn't a booming voice from heaven. It was just a quiet, nagging whisper. What if the point isn't to fix your weakness? What if your weakness isn't a glitch in the system? What if it's a feature? It led me to a passage in the Bible I'd read 100 times but never really got. It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Paul begged God to take the thorn away 3 times, and God's answer was no. This is what God said to him, and this is the pivot point for everything. He said, my grace is sufficient for my power is made perfect in weakness. So let's unpack that, because every single word is loaded with life-altering truth. First, My grace is sufficient for you. The Greek word for sufficient, archaea, simply means it's enough. It's adequate. It doesn't mean a tidal wave of grace will wash the problem away forever. It means that right here, in this moment of weakness, His grace is present and it is exactly enough to get you through. It's not a promise that He'll remove the hardship, but a promise that His presence will be enough in the hardship. Second, and this is the part that flips our whole idea of strength on its head. For my power is made perfect in weakness. The word for made perfect means to be completed or to fully achieve its purpose. God's power doesn't just show up in our weakness, it's completed there. It finds its fullest, most powerful expression in the very places where we are most inadequate. Your weakness isn't an obstacle to God's power. It is the arena for it. It's the empty space He's waiting to fill. I'd always treated weakness like an emergency, something to fix, something to hide until I could show up strong again. But Paul, he didn't hide it. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Hit that subscribe button because we're on a journey together to tear down these lies and find the freedom that comes from discovering God's strength, not in our own talents, but right in the middle of our struggles. That verse didn't make my struggle disappear, but it ended the shame. So what does this mean for you right now in your situation? It means that thing you hate about yourself, the thing you've been begging God to fix, that might be the very thing He wants to use. Your weakness is not your disqualification. It's your invitation into a deeper experience of His grace. It's the platform of His power. Think about it this way. You can't see the stars in the middle of the day. The sun is just too bright. It's only when the sky is at its darkest that the brilliance of the stars is finally revealed. In the same way, it's often in the darkest nights of our soul, when our own light has completely burned out, that the glory of God's power shines brightest in our lives. God gets the glory when He sustains you through the storm, not just when He calms it. I didn't know it at the time, but that verse marked the beginning of a shift. I wasn't being removed. I wasn't being reassigned. For years I saw my mental breakdown as the worst season of my life. I saw it as a personal failure, a mark of shame. But now I see it as the place where I finally stopped trying to be strong enough for God and discovered a God who was strong enough for me. My greatest weakness became the site of my deepest encounter with His grace. God is not asking for your strength. He's asking for your weakness. He's not asking for your perfection. He's asking for your broken pieces, because His power isn't made perfect in your success. It's made perfect in your weakness. Your story isn't about you being strong enough. It's about Him being strong enough in you. I want to end with a prayer for you. Father, for the person watching this, who feels completely crushed by their weakness, who feels like you are a million miles away, I pray you would reveal this incredible truth to them. Shift their perspective. Help them see that the very thing they hate about themselves might be the exact place you have chosen to show your glory. Let them stop striving and start surrendering. Let them find that in their weakness, they are truly profoundly and miraculously strong in you. Amen. Your story, it matters. Your struggle doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies you to be a testament to God's grace. If you feel comfortable, share a piece of your own story in the comments below. Let's build a community that boasts not in its own strength, but in a God who is always strong for us. Remember, you're not disqualified. You're redeployed.